Welcome back, guys. So one thing that is 100% crucial for any business is knowing your costs, and in this industry is knowing your cost per mile. All right, you want to know how much it costs for you to run your business down to the penny, so that when you're looking at loads, you know whether or not you can be profitable, what loads you need to run to be profitable. And this is also a really good skill set to know when forecasting and looking at lanes and looking at jobs and looking at dedicated contracts. You got to know your rate per mile. So when I first started, I had a very rough calculation, and then I got a little bit deeper into my worksheet and I was able to get it down to the penny. So the cool thing about this is I was able to get it in a shareable format, and now I have it to share with you guys. So let's go over this together real quick, and let's go through the basics. All right, guys, so let's look at how I have this sheet designed. I'm a big color-coded guy. All right, so as you can see, we have our inputs over here, and then this is our outputs right here. And I try to make it real simple. So as you can see in the directions, you can enter all of your expenses on the respective sheet, see the colored tabs below, and see the notes to the right. And then this is our summary page. So right now it's calculating our company cost per mile at $1.11. And then we have our different calculations based off of driver pay, depending on whether or not you have a driver. Now, guys, this is also really good whether or not you're in the business. If you plan on getting in, this is a great way to forecast and set a budget to know that, okay, in order for me to be profitable, I need X amount of dollars per mile. So this is extremely helpful before and during your operations. All right, so I try to do everything. I'm a visual guy. All right, guys, I need colors to help me stay on track. So as you can see, I got my fuel calculations on one page, overhead calculation on another page, driver pay on a third page, and then an actual loan calculator that we can use and incorporate this as well. So the way I set this up, guys, is anything in green is where you enter your data, and anything in gray is calculated, and then everything in the other colors helps you find the spot. So guys, let's just work this left to right. Okay, let's start with your fuel. Now again, guys, this is all based off of estimated miles per week. So this equation can vary greatly, but this is why you have to have a rough idea. So most trucks run an average of 2,000 to 3,000 miles per week. That's an average of roughly $500 per day. Some days are less, some days are more. So we're going to say that the average truck runs 2,500 miles per week. The average fuel consumption is 6.7 miles per gallon. That is an industry average. And we can come back and tweak this. This will also help you to kind of understand why fuel economy is so important. So stay with me. This is really important. So, fuel consumption. Let's stick with that. And then your average cost of diesel per gallon. All right. So, this is also extremely important. So, based off of running 2,500 miles per week, and you're consuming 6.7 miles per gallon, you're going to use roughly 373 gallons per week. Now, the reason I can't click on that is because I protected this sheet, so you can't mess up the calculation. So this is going to be, and we can always come back here and double check the math, right? We have 2,500 miles divided by 6.7 gallons is 373 gallons, right? And we multiply that by the average of $3.50. Our weekly fuel cost is estimated to be $1,300. All right, guys. So this is a fuel and mileage calculator. So this is extremely important in any calculation you do, because some people might run more miles, some people might run less miles, some people might get a higher MPGs. So let's look at how this changes everything, right? I know that there's some newer trucks out there that are doing 8.5. Now you see that? That brought my fuel cost down $300, or roughly 30%. See, just by changing the MPGs, okay? Now you can come over here and look at the cost comparison, right? We got $1,305. $1,300 is how much you'll spend in fuel at 6.7 miles per gallon. But if you have a truck that does better, you're going to save $300 and spend $1,000. So guys, you can see how MPGs is so important. The fuel economy. You'll be hearing and seeing guys doing crazy stuff to get some good MPGs, and this is why. Okay, so this is why this calculation is extremely important. And we'll put it back to 6.7. But this is again a rough estimate, guys. You have to change this to whatever your truck is going to be getting and whatever and however you plan on running. Again, if you plan on running 2,000 miles, obviously your fuel cost is going to be lower, but then ultimately that will bring up your company cost per mile because you're not dividing it by so many. Basic algebra, but let's not think too much into it. So that is a summary of the fuel and mileage calculator. Alright guys, because all of this plays into your cost per mile. But this is pretty cool. It's already formulated, it's already calculated, and you can come here and tweak that out yourself. So whatever the equation is, whether you're running 2,000 miles, 3,000 miles, and obviously legally most of us can only do 3,000 miles unless we have some type of exemption, but that's ELD, log HOS conversation for another video. But that's it guys. So this is the fuel and mileage calculator section of this. Alright guys, so I hope that's helpful. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part.